Hello everyone, and thank you for sticking around. I appreciate your dedication to stay to the last session. Yes, as Chrissy said, it's my pleasure to introduce the MTM critical metals story to you this afternoon. As she said, we are a rare earth element explorer and development hopeful with projects in both Western Australia and in Quebec in Canada. I've got a lovely picture here of some of our ferro carbonatite with the red coloration there is high-grade rare earth element and niobium mineralisation. But yes, we also have a slightly different offering to what's been on stage, in the sense that we've just invested into a technology option and are in the process of settling a license agreement with the developers of that technology, which was Rice University in the United States. And we see it as highly complementary to our mineral story, so I'll take you through that now. So I guess probably the key thing for MTM as a company is that in late last year we agreed to acquire a company called Flash Metals PL. Flash brought Flash brought this West Arunta project, which of course is in a very hot exploration area in Central Australia. There's been several talks about the work that's going on up there already for this conference, and so I'll give you an overview of that. There is the flash Joule heating technology, which is a very exciting, or to me as a humble exploration geologist, a very exciting technology using basically an electrochemical process to treat materials as diverse as battery recycling, e-waste, and also to larger scale industrial waste streams like coal fly ash and bauxite residues. So we see a huge opportunity to take this technology from a research project through to commercialisation, and we see a whole range of opportunities for dealing with a burgeoning waste problem that we have in our society, but also potentially an opportunity to look at the implementation of this technology into the mineral processing field, something that hasn't really been tested at all yet. The deal also came with additional ground in Western Australia in the Mukinbudin region. We have just, literally in the last couple of weeks, we have finalised these agreements, and capital raising to help us take all these projects forward has literally closed in the last couple of days. So to the West Arunta. As I said, there's been a number of talks at this conference about the excitement that's been caused by the discoveries of particularly niobium mineralisation in the West Arunta, and that's largely been by WA1 and Encounter Resources, who have been working steadily up in the region for the last couple of years. And in fact, there's been around, I heard a number quoted which matches my own, somewhere between $50 and $70 million of exploration expenditure dedicated towards this region. It is very remote, and it has been kind of neglected from an exploration perspective. The recent discoveries of carbonatites and the niobium mineralisation that they contain has really re-energised the entire region, and not just for those specialty metals, but also for things like copper and gold. So there is a very strong exploration effort going on there, and despite its remoteness, the geology is very prospective and it's likely to generate new discoveries. We, of course, would like to be part of that story, and we now hold 3 tenements, 3 exploration licenses in the region. We're right next door to WA1 and Encounter. We would like a slice of the action that they've been seeing, and we now have the ability to undertake our heritage agreements and get on the ground, and also undertake the usual kind of work like reprocessing of the geophysics. We will probably fly some more geophysics to allow us to target for mineralised bodies, and as soon as we can, we'll be progressing that exploration campaign. The flash Joule heating, I need to try and explain this to you in simple terms. And as I said, I'm a simple geologist, so it should be easy. We see this as a tech which has application for rare earths, for other critical metals, for the recovery of precious metals. As you can see there, it could come from a number of different sources, and the whole process relies on basically us being able to increase the scale and thereby show the commercialisation of the technology. The actual flash joule heating is this setup here. As I said, it's an electrochemical process. In general terms, a sample is hooked up to a series of electrodes and subjected to a high voltage pulse of electricity. That pulse causes rapid heating and then rapid cooling of the material that's being treated. And that thermal shock has a couple of effects. One is that it volatilises some of the metals in the sample. That is, it's basically boiling the metals and turning them into a gas, which can then be directly recovered. It can also be boiling off undesirable elements and so can concentrate the material of interest that we're after. It also appears to have an effect of breaking apart the refractory metals that are in the sample, which leaves it much more susceptible to a traditional acid leach. So in some ways, this technology has the potential to be a direct capture of critical metals from high-value waste streams. It also has the potential to be an addition to existing recycling technologies simply to make them cheaper in the sense that they will use less reagents and create less of a secondary waste stream. Now, the technology itself has been developed by a group at Rice University in Houston. I visited them just a couple of weeks ago, and they have some very, very impressive facilities. The main guy is a professor called Dr. James Tour. He and his group have been prolific in generating new research ideas and subsequent patents. And there is also a history of taking those ideas and putting them into the commercial world and seeing them advanced. A key one that you might know of is Weebit Nano. It's a different kind of technology, but it certainly demonstrates that there are a number of, the group has a reputation of taking ideas and seeing them become real-world technological solutions. We are currently negotiating a global license agreement over a number of patents, and that process is likely to be completed sometime in May, if not before. And we are also at a stage where we have engaged with an engineering group, also based in Houston, who are developing a prototype for us that will then allow us to both test samples and establish the parameters for an effective potential commercial operation, but then also convert that into a realistic engineering solution for the technology itself. So I guess the question is, why would we do this? Why would we branch away from exploration? Here very quickly are 8 pretty good reasons to do that. A key one, of course, is that there are already ready supplies of material that need to be treated. I read recently that in terms of e-waste, approximately 60 million tonnes of e-waste was generated globally in 1 year, last year. About 1% of that material is being effectively recycled. So there is this huge opportunity to get involved into the recycling and recovery process of precious metals. It's going to be demanded by governments and by industry. So we're hopeful that we can take advantage of that very secure and constant supply of material and offer a cost-effective and sustainable solution. This is a bit of a look at the process itself. This is in fact flashing of carbon material to produce graphene. And as you can see, there's a very intense pulse of electricity producing the flash of our technology. And we're looking to build essentially similar kind of flash reactors and instrumentation to be able to standardise the process across a range of other metals. This is work that's being done by Universal Matter. They have a pilot plant about to start operating just outside of Toronto. Something else that I was fortunate to visit just a couple of weeks ago. So the technology is real. It's moving into the commercial world. We'll be able to learn from some of the work that's already been done, and are looking to fast track this process as we move forward. A couple of other comments about our exploration program. Our POM project is something that we invested in Canada about 12 months ago. It is a carbonatite-hosted rare earth project. We spent about $2 million there last year and had a very successful exploration campaign which defined very broad zones of rare earth mineralisation. We know that we are sitting close to an existing rare earth deposit, and we've got a very highly mineralised system in the area that we're drilling. Further work planned there for this year, which will be implemented once the Canadian summer gets established. We're also working on rare earths in Western Australia, as I said. Our key project is out near Laverton in the goldfields, where we have a clay-hosted rare earth deposit. That's an area where we see district-scale rare earth anomalies, huge amount of rare earth mineralisation being concentrated in the regolith profile out there. And it's something that we are continuing to actively explore and test the metallurgical characteristics and so on, just so that we can establish the baseline for what could be potentially a resource for us out in Western Australia as well. A little bit more on POM. The project is, as I said, it's in Quebec. It's located about 200 kilometres to the north of the city of Val d'Or, which is in the Abitibi Gold Belt. So we're very close to existing mining infrastructure and all the services we could require. We can drive to this project, which is a huge advantage in Canada. It's on gentle terrain, which is being logged. So we have extremely good access to our project, which makes the whole process of exploration substantially cheaper and easier. What we saw at POM, as I said, was this very large mineralised system. We certainly have some zones of exciting grades, and our challenge for this coming year is to basically focus in on the highest grade zones of mineralisation and look to make a rare earth discovery that could potentially be economic. A lot revolves around the metallurgy of the deposit. And again, we've got the opportunity to piggyback on our neighbours and what they've learnt about the mineralisation locally. Quick cross-section. I'm not going to go through these intersections in detail, but just to give you a sense of scale, these drill holes are very deep, 600 metres, 550 metres, 400 metres on the right-hand side, very broad zones of mineralisation, and locally some excellent grades within that give us a lot of confidence that there is a resource to be found at POM. At East Laverton, again, as I said, regional development of rare earth mineralisation. We've done an amount of drilling out there that's only partially tested what opportunity there is. We certainly think there is a great scope for development of a large clay-hosted resource. Again, a lot will depend on the metallurgical characteristics of that material, and that's something we'll continue to work on throughout 2024. Here's our Rogues Gallery, myself as Managing Director, supported by a very experienced board and management team. And a quick snapshot of the company. The key thing here to say is that we have just finished capital raising, so we've got about $5 million in the bank. We have no debt, and we now have the funding that we need in order to progress both sides of our story, the one side being the exploration both here both in Western Australia and in Canada, and of course the effort that we'll put into the engineering on the flash joule heating technology. And on that, I'll say thank you very much.
Thank you very much.